Hello and good afternoon, everyone. How are you doing? I hope very well. I can tell you I'm doing quite well. Yes, so well. All right, today we have a class on, well, it's not really a history class. It is a history class, but it's also current. So, it's history that's ongoing and kind of lives encased in a way. But today we're going to do a class that was requested on kind of US coins and ones that are rare. So what we have for class is the top 10 rare US coins. So if you find any of these, please, keep it and hold on to it. Be happy you found one. It's gonna be pretty hard to find, but for some reason you did. I mean, there are still some of these out there. So most of them are somebody has and locked away very safely. But when it comes to coins, my stepdad was a big coin collector. Had a big coin collection, still does. And he's actually he gave me a present. And so he gave really all my brothers and sisters this present. But when it comes to coins, he was always very particular and said to take care of whatever ones he had. Like I had a card collection for a long time. Gave it to my brothers, which I never had. I hope they still have it. I don't really ask them about it. But some of those cards would be worth a lot of money today. But I always kept them in a sleeve so that the edges wouldn't fray or kind of bend over, or there wouldn't be any creases on it. Really devalues it. But so this is a silver proof set from 1999. As you can see, the year is 1999. And he gave me a set up to about 2008. So there's that. You can see there's the dime, I think that's a $50. Yeah, $50, nickel, and then a whole set of quarters. And again, these are pristine. So it's been since 1999 that I've had these. Well, actually, that he's had them and held on to them. And it also comes along with like a certificate of authenticity. Gives you some background on everything that comes with the coins. And so now it's been a while that they've been out. I mean, before the year 2000, which is nice. I mean, these ones, so they're the oldest ones that I have. So, they're only 20 some odd years old. But, throughout time, the coin will only go up in value. Like my stepdad always said that eventually paper money, they're not going to use it anymore. The thing that you'll want is cold hard cash, which I barely have any of. I don't know how much of the silver they're really worth on. But it's nice to have, and it is something that I'll hold on to. And who knows, if I ever need to sell it, I'll sell it. If I ever want to pass it down to somebody, I'll pass it down to somebody. But yeah, it's really nice of him. And he also had a coin. I remember when I was a kid, he showed me his collection. And we're going through, and he pulls out a coin that's from ancient Greece, and it was just really small. And I was like, well, that must be worth a fortune. Like, wow. And he's like, no, it's actually not that. It's not worth that much. It's like maybe $5, something like that. I'm like, but it's so old. Like, that's got to be worth a ton. He's like, no, honestly, you can find these. It's not too hard. Like, but it's from ancient Greece. He's like, yeah, it's really not worth that much money. So when you get into coin collecting, a lot of people think, oh, the older, the better. No, really, there's so many variables. And the condition that it's in is one of the biggest variables. Like I said, now we're going to go over the top 10 most rare US coins. Now, some of them I have a picture of. I printed out the pictures of some. And some of them we're just going to have to go with a description because I don't have a picture. So, it just didn't print out all the pictures. I don't know why it does that, but sometimes when it prints, it does it. So, the first one we're going to go over is the 1933 St. Gaudens Double Eagle. Now, in 1933, with the Depression in full swing, President Roosevelt took the country off the gold standard and recalled all gold coins for melting. About a dozen never made it back to the mint or were smuggled out again by enterprising employees, including this one, which I don't have a picture of, but it's called the Double Eagle St. Gaudens, which resurfaced in 1992 and was confiscated by the Secret Service. Dun, dun, dun. So even if you had one, they'd confiscate it. And in 1933, it had a face value of $20. In 2002, it was sold at auction for over $7 million. So that was like the only one. So it doesn't really even matter because the Secret Service, you don't need a picture of it. They would take it from you anyway if you did find it. I mean, maybe you could sell it somewhere else in the world, but Secret Service will go there. Our next one, we have the 1804 draped bust dollar. So this is a dollar coin. There it is, the draped bust dollar. Dun, dun, dun. Where's my finger? Oh, dun, 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 right there. So look closely at it. So when the Jackson administration in 1834 wanted to dole out coin sets to foreign dignitaries, there was a problem. Silver dollars hadn't been pressed for 30 years. So to combat a rash of counterfeit schemes, the mint was ordered to press 8 silver dollars, only 8, for the occasion, and they were dated 1804. So look out for 1804 coinage, especially dollars. The only dollar coins that would ever bear that year. Today, each has a value of over $1 million. So if you find a coin from 1804, the interesting thing is that the date on the coin here is 1803. But hold on to that. It's $1 million. A few more years, it could be double that. All right, our next one is the Brasher double balloon, the balloon. So it's this one in the middle, that one right there. Very good looking coin, nice and shiny. That's why I printed this in color. So before New York adopted the new Constitution in 1789, like other states, had the right to issue its own coinage. So goldsmith Ephraim Brasher got one of those contracts to mint copper coins, but it appears he largely ignored that material and went on to produce several very artistic gold specimens for reasons unknown. Just 7 of these unique coins are known to exist. So I'm guessing people have them already. But if you come across a Brasher doubloon from like 1789, so maybe 1790, something like that, just look for those ages and you got yourself a good one. Now here's the 1861 Confederate States half dollar. So this is what this one looks like. I do have pictures of most. But right there. Yep. So take a good look at that. Where's best light? Right there. So this is 1861 Confederate States half dollar. So the New Orleans Mint came under the control of the Confederate States in 1861, but without a reserve of precious metals, the South chose paper money instead of coinage to support their war efforts. The few Confederate cents and half dollars that were struck were virtually unknown until they began popping up in private collections after the Civil War. So 1861, and if it's Confederate, if it's made by the Confederate Mint or the New Orleans Mint, you probably have yourself something pretty pricey there. Very rare coin. Okay, this is not too old. See, again, it doesn't need to be old for it to have value. But in 1974, so this is the 1974 aluminum penny. So this is not silver, this is aluminum, and it's a penny. 1974. So take a look at that. Aluminum 1974 penny. Find any ones that look like that and it says 1970. That one says 1974. So when the rising price of copper in the early 1970s It almost cost as much to make a cent as the penny was worth, which doesn't make sense financially. So the U.S. tested alternatives, like this aluminum penny that was sent out to VIPs as a sample, and then never recouped. So I'm sure there are some people who have them, but it is possible. So it was only a sample thing, so there probably aren't that many, but if you find one, hold on to that. The next one is the 1913 Liberty Head nickel. So there it is with the Liberty Head. I'm right underneath it, staring. Alright, so this 5-cent piece is numismatic legend. Is a numismatic legend. Despite it being retired in 1912, 5 nickels with the Liberty Head design were struck in 1913 and came into the possession of one man. The collector started a rumor about their existence, driving up the value of the nickel if one was ever found, but neglecting to mention he had all 5 of them already. Nice. They were sold a few years later, and in a recent change of hands, one was valued at $3 million. So people probably have those locked up in vaults pretty well. Now, I don't have a picture of these other ones. Well, I do, but I don't. I have one on my screen. But this doesn't matter because it says almost anything from 1870. Almost anything from 1870. So that is a big year. Just coinage, 1870, remember that. Or more specifically, from 1870 and created in San Francisco. 3 of the most coveted collector coins, the 18S half dime, the 1870S silver dollar, and the 1870S gold $3 coin. The S stands for the Mint City, San Francisco, come from the year when construction began on a new mint in San Francisco. Just a few coins in those denominations were produced that year, most of which were destined to be embedded in the foundation's cornerstone. So anything, especially if there's an S in it, from San Francisco, check that out and hold on to that for dear life. 1866. All right. So this is this coin. Right. Yeah. 1866 is the year. There are certain years to remember. 1974, pennies. Anything from the 1870s at San Francisco Mint. And then we have 1866. This famous silver coin, owned by the DuPont family, was the target of a heist in 1967 and only recovered just a few years ago. Just a few denominations and probably only one DuPont dollar were produced without the classic "In God We Trust" motto in 1866. According to some sources, it was upon special request from a collector and friend of mint executives, a pharmacist who provided opium to the workers in return. So, interesting history there. Then we have it 1776, of course. The Declaration of Independence was signed, all that good stuff, but we have a silver continental dollar. That is this one right here. There we go, take a good look. So it says here, not long after the signing of the Declaration of Independence, 1776, the new United States Congress decided to assert its freedom by striking the first true American currency. The design, usually attributed to Benjamin Franklin, is a whimsical motif including the words "fugio," or time flies, and "mind your business." Yes, we've all heard that phrase, and we should heed its advice. Mind your business. Along with 13 interlocking rings representing the colonies, many were struck in pewter, and a few dozen remain, but the silver version is very rare. So 1776, silver continental dollar. Any of those would probably, even if it's not silver, would still be worth probably quite a bit of money. Alright, and lastly, don't have a picture of it, unfortunately. But it's in 1943, remember that year too, 1943. So during the Second World War, copper penny. So the Second World War meant big rationing on copper. And the US Mint was no exception. Most wartime pennies were instead made of a brass steel alloy. So most of the pennies were brass steel, except for a few struck from the outlawed bronze, copper alloy. So, if you find one of these anomalies, the common brass version, the one that's brass and steel, will stick to a magnet. While the bronze, and again this is 1943, while the bronze won't. It could be worth big bucks. So if you find a coin, a penny, from 1943, so look around, find some pennies, and grab yourself a magnet. If it doesn't stick to that magnet, you got yourself something good. Hold on to that, because you have made yourself probably a good bit of money. Anyway, so that's been our class for today. Hope that maybe one of you come across one of these coins and make yourself some money. And thank you for those who suggested it. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, unless you have one of these coins and you're like, I don't know what to do with it, help me. I would put it in a safe deposit box, but we can help you hook that up if you happen to have one of these. Also, if you have any suggestions for future classes that you would like, please let me know. All right, y'all. Have a great rest of your day. I will talk to you all soon. Bye.